about Sylvester Stallone's wife, which should we question her gender? Because when I looked at her, I thought he married Lexi Love, quiet as it's kept. So you can't be out here trying to read people on trans stuff when sis, you not that far where we need to probably take you in the room and check in between your legs and see what your gender is. So yeah, that's Jennifer Flavin. I can't tell who had more work done, her or her husband. But nevertheless, let's get into the mess. So apparently, Jennifer Flavin, who is Sylvester Stallone's wife, went on a podcast hosted by Katie Miller, a former spokesperson for the Trump administration. I should also point out she is also the wife of Stephen Miller. And y'all know who Stephen Miller is because he is one who is definitely pulling the puppet strings behind the scenes with this current administration. But he ain't the only one. Also, we have oh my god, what the hell is his name? Because I wrote in the thing that he ain't the only one that's up in here pulling strings and stuff. It'll probably come to me. Um what did I say? It was Russell Vaught. He's another one that you got to watch out for. He's been doing a lot of behind the scenes mess too. That's a part of this whole administration with Project 2025 and all the other stuff. Look into it. So, in a bizarre talking point on Katie Miller's podcast, hosted by Republican political advisor and Trump's former deputy press secretary, Stallone suggested that celebrity parents are more likely to have trans children as their home lives lack structure. During the conversation released on October 20th, that was yesterday actually, Miller quizzed Stallone on why so many children of celebrity parents are trans. Well, first of all, why are you asking someone who doesn't have any trans children? But because what she is associated with being a celebrity, and that's because of who she's fucking or has been for the back. Well, I don't think they fucking anymore. Um, at this point, Sylvester Stallone's so old he fart dust and piss rust. So there's no way in hell that he's even nutting up in her. I'm sure if he nuts up in her, or you hear the sound you hear from him is that's all you hear that coming out of his nuts when it comes up when he's shooting and squirting and all that mess. But anyway, so they said, is there something in the water in Hollywood? This is what Miller asked, which Stallone theorized that Hollywood is all about expression. However, you want to express yourself. If you feel like a cat today, you're a cat. Referencing a debunked and ridiculous right-wing host that about litter trays being put in school bathrooms for children who identify as animals. Well, first of all, she got grown-ass kids. Like, when the last time they've been in a school? And it's so loosey-goosey. I don't think we're really understanding that these kids are not our accessories. They're little human beings that need structure, and structure is really important for them because it helps their brain organize everything. Salone, a former model, so they say. And cosmetics brand owner who married the Rocky actor, looked like she wearing all the makeup in her kit. From who married the Rocky actor in '97, went on to suggest without evidence that children who grow up in Hollywood homes might be more likely to be trans as they find the celebrity lifestyle confusing. So you're literally trying to say because celebrity being a celebrity in the world is confusing, hence why they're confused about their gender. Like, huh? Like, how many celebrities are in Hollywood with children and they not trans? Madonna, none of her kids is trans. That's an example of someone who has six children. Not one of them will come out as transgender. Um, there's a handful of celebrities out here that we could think of that have trans children. And would rather hear from them than this bitch. But we'll get into those celebrities in a second. But I just want to continue with what she has. I would play the clip, but I don't want to hear from her dumb ass. So I'm going to just read it. I feel like the reads on top of the read is way more entertaining. She said, I think growing up in a Hollywood home, there's really no structure because you have to have this thing going and you've got private planes and you've got all these giant homes with chefs and secretaries and assistants and, housekeepers and nannies. And there's too much of everything. It gets really confusing for a little person. She continued by stating that celebrity parents should use good common sense when raising their children and suggesting that some children of famous parents might be being pressured into identifying as trans. From who? Like, what kind of gun is somebody putting in somebody's head that they're going, you know what? I want you to be trans because trans is trendy. Like, I want my child to be transgender because trans is all the rage now. So I want a trans baby. Like, where do y'all come up with this shit? Like, where do y'all come up with this? So they say it's okay that you decide to be an adult, but raise them just with good common sense. And they always do this. It's like, well, you should wait till you're an adult to decide what you and who you want to be or whatever the case is. And here's the thing: people just think that one day you just wake up and is automatically like, okay, I want to get my dick turned into a pussy. Why is that always the extremity that y'all always go to when it comes to trans issues or being transgender? It's like, no, that's not how that works. There's years of therapy that a lot of these kids go through to make sure that this is something they genuinely want to do before they transition fully into what they want to become. Like, if you want, sit down with people like Jazz Jennings and ask them. I don't know why you guys, well, I'm not surprised if you would get someone like Katie Miller that would ask this dumb bitch this question, because it's like, why actually ask another cisgender woman about something she knows nothing about when Google is your friend? You could do the research on trans kids and the things they go through in the research and all the other stuff from qualified doctors, or you could actually sit down with the parents, celebrity parents of trans children, and have this conversation with them. But no, you want the sensationalism, you want the ratings, you want to start this whole, thing of trans people are evil, which is like what Stephen Miller is like a talking point that he started up, that's chirped in Trump's ear, and that's what he was saying when he was doing his whole campaign run. And they're still doing this with the whole trans athletes and how they're hurting people on whatever sport that they're playing, when there's not even a lot of trans people out here playing sports with people of the gender that they identify as. So it's all these crazy lies and things that they make up that they want to create this whole conundrum. So she goes and says that, I mean, my daughters were tomboys. They preferred to wear pants than dresses, and they love sports. But I never said, oh, you're a boy now. I just said, you love to play sports. You love to hang out with boys. That's awesome. So she really thinks equating trans with girls who wear pants and play sports, like girls don't play sports, that makes you, like, what are you talking? This bitch really is stupid. That's why I was like, you know what? Just be pretty. Well, you were until you got all that shit all that fix a flat put in your damn face. But before that, it was just like, this is why you should just be seen and not heard. You're a model, don't talk. So while a number of celebrities, including Robert De Niro, Gabrielle Union, Mel B, and Jamie Lee Curtis, are parents of trans children, there was no evidence to suggest that being a child of a famous parent makes someone more likely to identify as trans. After Miller posted a clip of Stallone's views on her Instagram page, those in the comment section let her know as much or such. Sad hearing this, wrote one person. I know if Jen and Sylvester had a gay or trans kid, they would 100% support them. Sorry to say, but living in Hollywood, Alabama, etc., does not make you trans. Well, I don't know if Jen and Sylvester, if they had a gay kid, that they would 100% support them. Because based on some of the stuff that they be saying, and Sylvester Stallone has always thrived on being like this machismo manly man. And I, as someone who is a Sylvester Stallone fan, like I grew up watching like Rocky and the Rambo movies, love all the Rambo movies. I even like Tulsa King, the show that's currently in its third season. Like, I like Sylvester Stallone as an actor, but it's like, well, he didn't really say none of this time, so we can't really windmill on him too hard. It's just dumbass wife that's saying it. But I just feel like apple don't fall too far from the tree. I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of feels this way about things as well. And plus, especially with him being a part of the Trump administration, there was some job, some fake made up job, that some Hollywood thing that Trump made him a part of. Him, John Crazy Ass Voight, and Mel Nutbag Gibson. So all three of them are working in this thing together. So, I don't put nothing past him even thinking this way as well. A third question: did she actually think there was some logic in what she said? Clearly, she did, but she's as dumb as a box of damn rocks. Now, to insinuate that some children who would otherwise identify as cis are being pressured into identifying as trans ignores mounting evidence that shows very low rates of regret after someone transitions. A 2019 survey, for example, found that less than 0.5% of the 3,398 people who had accessed gender affirming healthcare experience transition related regret. A notion that being trans is an increasingly common phenomena among younger generations, dubbed transsocial contagion theory, has also been debunked. Well, y'all want to sit up here and talk about all the kids becoming trans. Well, there's a story that there's more children that are identifying as queer because being LGBT, LMNOP is in our DNA. So there's more kids that are I believe of Gen Z that are identifying as queer. So that may be in that situation. But as far as trans goes, no. This is a lie that, of course, she wants to spread around, and of course, they've got an agenda when you're on these people's show, especially when Stephen Miller wife trying to find a hobby or something she want to do. And this is why I keep saying that everybody, just because you got a microphone in front of you, don't mean that you need to start speaking in front of it. Because a lot of these people that be on these in this podcast space, y'all really starting to show the lack of intelligence that y'all actually have and how less than smart a lot of y'all really are. So you know what? At the end of the day, I'm just sick of people like Jennifer Flavin, who does not have a trans child or understands trans ideology. Speak, I'm tired of people like her just speaking on something they aren't well versed in, especially on a platform, as I said, hosted by the wife of the biggest political bigot. That would be Stephen Miller in the Republican Party. So if I want to hear from people that really want to speak on this thing, and you could have had that moment of wanting to invite these people on to have this conversation, speak to people like Robert De Niro. But then again, Robert De Niro can't stand Donald Trump, so you already know you're not getting him in the room because he probably cuss your ass out and call you a dumb bitch. So you're not getting Robert De Niro. But then if you get Gabrielle Union, she'll eat you up and spit you out. Dwayne Reed, you could ask Cher, you could talk to Charlize Theron, you could talk to Marlon Wayans, you could talk to Jamie Lee Curtis. These are all people who have trans children. Like, I'd rather hear from them than hear from somebody who A, doesn't have a trans child, and B, don't know what the hell they talking about. And I don't know why people just listen to people like this. And I guess it's because they play into your ignorance. So you're willing to listen to people who spew ignorance rather than people who actually have make logical sense or have a sense of common sense. So, yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below.